The major tax reform was approved by Congress this year in December, and IRS is working on implementing this large legislation that is going to affect both businesses and individuals. This new legislation came into effect January 1st, 2018, and therefore it will not affect your 2017 tax filing. So for most taxpayers filing tax returns currently, the new legislation will not affect them. It will kick in next year when we start 2019 filing season. We want to remind the taxpayers that the filing deadline this year is April 17th. And if you're still need some time to file the tax return, you can get an automatic 6-month extension. What we want to remind taxpayers though, although with an extension, it's an extension of time to file, not an extension of time to pay. So all payments have to be made before April 17 to avoid any penalties. We also want to remind the taxpayers that it's never too late to start preparing for the next year. The IRS is encouraging all taxpayers to do paycheck checkup, to check their withholdings and make sure enough taxes are being withheld. There are a number of resources and tools available for all taxpayers on irs.gov. If you visit the irs.gov, you would be able to find out the status of your refund, make payments, file extensions, even be able to do some free file. So we encourage all taxpayers to look at irs.gov for a lot of information. We're asking all taxpayers to do paycheck checkup. With the new tax legislation that is affecting withholdings, we want taxpayers to use the tools available on irs.gov, which is a withholding calculator, to determine the correct amount of tax that needs to be withheld from their paycheck. The withholding calculator can prevent people from having too much or too little taxes withheld, and thus avoid some interest and penalties. If you have too little taxes withheld, then you would have to pay penalties at the end of next year, 2019. And if you have too much taxes withheld, well, you might want to reconsider. With the average refund that is over $2,800, we're asking taxpayers to look at the withholding calculator to determine if they do want to withhold as much taxes during the year. Some taxpayers would prefer to have that amount available to them throughout the tax year. Now, here's some tips to use when using the withholding calculator. You need to use your most recent pay stub and your 2018 tax return. You need to fill in all the information that is required. You could estimate, but just remember that the more accurate the numbers that you enter, the more accurate the results are going to be with the withholding calculator. So what happens if you use the withholding calculator and it gives you the amount of withholding you need? If you're under withholding or even over withholding, you need to submit the form W-4 to your employer to make changes to your withholding. So all of the information that we talked about earlier when we refer to irs.gov is available in a number of languages. And for Chinese-speaking community, it's one of the languages that information is available. So all the person needs or the taxpayer needs to do is to go into irs.gov and click up on the right-hand corner. There is a link. They would click on under Chinese and the information will actually pop up showing the information for new immigrants, information regarding withholding calculator, and everything that taxpayer needs to know will show up on that page.